Hello guys, welcome back. Today I am covering a song by Thrice called Red Sky. It was suggested to me by Devon Malad. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I will leave the name up here somewhere. It was also suggested by a new subscriber, Sean Vanoy, and I appreciate that. Thank you. They really enjoy my Thrice reactions, and for the rest of you who enjoy my Thrice reactions, you should also check out my other Thrice videos. I will leave links in the description if you want to check those out also. But enough said, too much rambling from me. That's not why we're here. Let's just get into this. Okay, first and foremost, I want to talk about just the video itself. This video gives off the very desolate, very empty, hollow feel with how it visually is. Like there are things here, but all those things, if you notice, are like a lot of like open holes, open windows, open spaces. It's very dark, very gray. It's kind of dreary, and I think that's really a good visual representation of the tone of the song so far. But let's keep going. I'm trying to really break this down. Hold on. That's very interesting what he says. Your tongue a thirsty knife. Wait, let's go back a little bit. I need to listen to something. It says conspiring with a reef to sink our ship. Your tongue is like a knife. I think it's very interesting. It's like describing someone who's just doing everything they can to destroy what you have built. That seems what they're talking about so far, but let me keep going. I'm really trying to put this together. This is really interesting. That's what he says, your tongue a thirsty knife, which I think is very interesting because it kind of gives you the idea, like, no, like your tongue's a thirsty knife, and what's a knife thirsty for? A knife is thirsty for blood, so metaphorically, like, one could you take it as like a person's kiss, or when they speak, their words are like daggers, their words are like knives, and they're thirsty for blood, which means they're thirsty to hurt you, which means, like, it could be like, you hurt me with your words. You conspire against me with those who are out to hurt me, with those being the reef, to sink the ship being me, or the ship being, what we have built, what I have built here, and you're working your best to tear it all down. And not only that, destroying me emotionally and psychologically with your words. Again, if you take tongue to mean words, and like a silver tongue, but instead of a silver tongue, the tongue is a dagger. And the thirsty dagger is thirsty for blood, as a dagger would be, because it's, a sharp tool. Before we get into that, though, that was really interesting. So she could take your life with one good kiss. And so again, that plays back into the thirsty knife thing, where he's talking about, like, your tongue's a thirsty knife. So one could make, I could think it means kill with words, but it also could mean that, like, her affection is this double-edged sword. It's a cutting blade. It's something that ultimately was a destructive force that brought down everything and has left him empty and hollowed and scorned and hurt, kind of like the visuals of the video in and of itself, and how everything just feels kind of bleak and desolate, like Fallout 4. Bad joke. That's very interesting. At the bottom of the sea. I didn't quite catch everything he said there. I'm not gonna lie, but when it comes back around, I might. But let me just go back a little bit because I was so busy talking about the one thing that I might have missed it. Before I keep going further, I just want to touch on the part when he says, like, I heard the ocean speak. I know the ocean speaks. I've heard it speak to me. I'm kind of paraphrasing a little bit what he said, but that plays back into this whole kind of the whole metaphor of the sinking ship from the first verse, and also how during the chorus it talks about the bottom of the sea. Again, I missed some of that, but I get the sense that he's basically resting at the bottom of the sea. He feels like a sunken ship. And what I think is interesting though is that in the first verse he speaks of the ocean kind of in a negative light, but in this verse he's speaking about how it calls to him this, and what it's like, when you think about what the ocean is, the ocean is a massive place, very deep, a lot of mystery, a lot of darkness, a lot of legends and mysticism and folklore that surrounds the ocean. And so like, when the ocean speaks to him, you could take that as like, how can I put this? That all this mystery, all this darkness, all the things that lie within the ocean, it calls to him. It wants to kind of bring him down into the depths, kind of like a mermaid song, how mermaids would sing and drag sailors down. Maybe I'm going too deep into it, but that's what it seems to be so far. But let's keep going. Okay, I think I got it now. I think I understand a little bit better when he says like, no, the sky is red, but then he also references making a bed at the bottom of the sea, which ties back into the ocean calling to him. And basically, also, you drown in the ocean if you go to the bottom of the ocean. Making your bed in the bottom of the sea is essentially, sinking down, allowing yourself to drown. And metaphorically, it could be, wanting to let yourself wallow in your sorrow, wallow in your pain, just letting yourself give into it and not wanting to bring yourself back up and allowing yourself to drown, so to speak. You know what I mean? Now, what I think is really interesting is now, because the only real reference to a red sky is mostly during the chorus. A lot of the verses speak in like in ship and sea metaphors, and the contrasting of the red sky versus sinking to the bottom of the sea. Like the sky turning red is can be like symbolic of the sky bleeding, of blood, of bad omens, of things just not being right. And like I don't know, like he'd rather sink, he'd rather drown than live in this world that has turned chaotic, that has turned bad, that is bleeding and that is bleeding in pain. And he'd rather just sink and drown and die than live above that to where everything's just kind of bleeding out. I don't know. That's what that kind of seems to be to me. But also, let me just speak about one more thing, and this is just tonally. Like tonally, I think what's really interesting, what's really cool is like the juxtaposing of the more quiet verses the screaming of the chorus, which a lot of people do, but tonally with this song, it's like the verses are him sort of quietly letting the emotions boil within, and then the screaming is ultimately letting that boil to the top and lamenting loudly what you're trying to contain. The verses are like the contained emotion, the chorus is the explosive emotion, and I think they do that very well. All right, that was Thrice, Red Sky, and I gotta say, I really like that. Like one thing that's really cool about Thrice, at least from the songs that I've heard, is they use a lot of metaphor in their songs. Like their lyrics are not always entirely just straight up telling you what they're thinking and what they're saying. Their thoughts and their lyrics are steeped in a lot of metaphor, simile, imagery. You know, things representing other things more so than just telling you specifically what something is. And there's a certain like poetic nature to this song, which I really enjoy and I really like. It really gives you something to think about because what they say could be interpreted in many ways and outside of how I interpreted anything. But I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think that I was pretty right on, if you think that I was way off, if you think that I was completely wrong. If you agree with me, I'd like to hear what you have to say about it. We can talk about it. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. I don't know why you haven't done that. Get your life together. Do the right thing. Your mother will be proud of you. No, anyway. And also, I do want to thank you guys for helping me reach 100 subscribers. We did that. That is awesome. I'm appreciative, and I thank you so very much. And hopefully you all will be here as the channel continues to grow and we can expand. All right. And until next time, I'll talk to you later. All right. Peace.